Hey, this is Eli Campbell. You know, Steamboat is renowned worldwide for skiing, biking, and all that our natural playground has to offer. We're fortunate, though, that the natural beauty here attracts more than just outdoor enthusiasts. From local legends to world-class acts, amazing musicians regularly play the venues in our little corner of Northwest Colorado. Join me as I explore the stories and experiences of these talented artists who bring unforgettable performances to Steamboat. This is your Steamboat Soundcheck. Welcome to the Steamboat Soundcheck podcast. Eli Campbell here with you. Happy to be joined by Matt and Sean, the twins that helm the O'Connor Brothers Band. They're going to be playing Schmiggity's tomorrow night, Saturday, January 11th. How are you guys doing?
Good, man.
Good.
Doing great.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys. I should quickly mention at the top here, just to kind of fulfill the sponsor obligations. Our podcast is presented by McCreight Progressive Dentistry, and one thing that we do with all of our Schmiggity's shows is we actually offer an opportunity to claim a free drink within the Steamboat Locals app, which is an easy download in the Apple or Google Play stores. Gives anyone that heads to Schmiggity's an opportunity to get a free drink when you're in there seeing the O'Connor brothers play tomorrow night. Now, I read that your journey into music started in sixth grade as a school requirement. You guys kind of chose saxophone and clarinet, and just curious, at that young age, what drew you to those instruments specifically, and how kind of have they shaped your early connection to music?
Mine as a trumpet player. That was the first instrument I picked. Man, honestly, I just kind of was like one of the ones you could pick, and it seemed like the cool one to pick at the time. And the further along you get into it, it kind of turned both Sean and I into horn players out of the gate, obviously, and it's kind of cool that draws you to a certain type of music. You're definitely, as a horn player, you're definitely it's easy to go down the jazz route. It's easy to, we were both classical musicians too, which was really cool. But honestly, it was cool to get into, like, in high school. I was like, I'm looking for bands, like rock bands that had horn sections and stuff. And I was always really influenced by those guys, like, Little Feat. They always played with, they have a couple records with, huge horn sections. So a lot of the music I listened to is kind of, both of us listened to is kind of based out of that attitude, having a horn section. And, it's kind of a cool thing that we get to keep rocking like that.
Yeah, that's always been one of my favorite types of music, or the bands that are taking a fusion of different musical influences and putting them together, which you guys really do. And you started to come together with that sound when you were at CSU at Colorado State. Now, I have to say, I'm a Buff alum. We don't need to bring up any Rocky Mountain Showdown rivalry stuff or anything like that, but love to see you guys being in state. Now, when you were at CSU, you were playing house parties in the Fort Collins area. At that time, was it just about having fun during college, or were you really kind of already having those aspirations to take the band further?
Yeah, I think it naturally comes with that. You kind of get into it because it is fun, and then all of a sudden, the more fun you start having with it, the cooler it becomes. And one thing leads to another. I think it's taken so many different shapes through the years that it's cool to have this goal, whatever it is. All the time you're pushing for making a cooler thing, or making better music, or playing bigger shows, and it never stops. So it's a cool thing to have that in life, I guess. So that was definitely the start of it, and it's been fun the whole way. But it is cool to have just some funny goal at the end.
Yeah. Now, and to that end, the band is still kind of your night job. Your day job is running the Keystone Tennis Center, which, as a tennis player myself, I love the sport. I think it's Matt is there. I think you've got some wooden tennis rackets
Yeah.
there in the background where you are.
Yeah, babe.
Um, Curious, are there any lessons from your life as tennis pros and players that you're able to carry over to kind of the band life and the night gig as musicians?
Man, I mean, as a musician, as a I think it was cool going through music school, getting taught how to acquire information like pretty quick. As a musician, that's kind of what you're getting taught to do. And it's cool to have applied that to the tennis game too, right? Like in that world, I think the tennis side of things is, Sean and I run this business too. It's our family business. So, here we're running a business in that aspect, just like we are with the band. So it's more practice. It's a different version of running a business and like creating a brand. And we've kind of done that with both, or at least you're always trying to achieve a higher level of doing that as a businessman and as a band, leader or running that business. That's all you're doing. It's all about making a brand for yourself. So it's been cool to try to connect the dots, but it's also nice to run my ass off all day on a tennis court and I don't have to worry about getting exercise outside of that. Yeah.
Nice. Now, you guys as a band, from your college days, you've grown into this five-piece band. You've got the horns influence and real jazz influences, but you're sounding so much more than that. It's a little bit of rock, it's jam, you've got some bluegrass elements. It's just all around. It's a lot of fun. And I'm kind of curious, being from Summit County, we're here up in Steamboat. I feel like the people from the mountains, we all come from a wide variety of backgrounds with the hope of feeling the positive mountain vibes in our communities. And is that kind of from being from the mountain town area and the mountain communities? Do you feel that that is part of why your music can't really be put into any one box or classification? Is that influenced just a wide variety of sound for you guys?
Yeah, I think you got so much different influence coming in this area. It's kind of funny because we don't have it's an interesting culture we have up in the mountains. It's so based on on where you are as much as, or maybe sometimes more than the people you're with all the time. Not that that doesn't have a part of it, but it is such a big deal up in the mountains because people are coming here because they want to be here and not because their family's here, this or that all the time. So we get such an interesting influx of you know just life in general is an interesting thing. There's so much to do, and I don't know musically if that has uh, changed us that much. I think personality wise, it definitely has, and outlook, like the things we strive for are definitely influenced by the world that we're in. Musically, I think it's hard to know what it all came from. I think it's a little bit of everything. As much as the guys we're playing with, Pierce, Colin, and Brendan, they're such a different, you know, they're so different than Matt and I just because of their upbringing. And Matt and I grew up in the mountains like this, and just they're, musically too, they're different. And it's cool to have that influence as a part of it in every way. Hanging out with them, it's more fun because everybody's so freaking different. And at the same time, being on stage and playing, getting used to playing with this big thing, it's very cool. So it's cool to have that, change amongst the characters in our band.
I
Yeah.
think our music, it's like we play a kind of a it's we play pretty listenable music, I feel like. But it's like there's a lot of our music that is, that's not the easiest music to play sometimes. Like we have complicated things going on a lot of times, and we have a jazz background, and um a lot of that kind of comes from that. But like, I'm kind of country ass motherfucker too. Like compared to like some of the sounds of our music, we have this jazz background, which is, jazz has this kind of city um based vibe to it.
Yeah, so
Like in reality, man, I'm just country as hell. But not that we're playing country music, but I feel like that is one thing that has steeped through growing up in the mountains. I can't help it. There's a little bit of folkness about that place that just it just creates itself.
For sure. And to that end, you talk about playing music that is just easy to listen to. We've been playing the songs I'm Sorry and Take It Off Slowly here on our Steamboat Locals music stream. We make a concerted effort to play songs from the bands that are coming through town. So we started playing your music before your last show at Schmiggy's back in September. And I have to say I was instantly a fan. It's quite literally from like the first few notes of Take It Off Slowly. I was intrigued with the sound. It's got some funk, it's rock, it's high energy, it's great songwriting. It's all around just a fun song. It's off the new album The Gulch, which was released November 1st. And I'm not sure if we caught a glimpse of Sean there. I think he is standing outside. I don't know if that's the album
That
cover or
is.
yeah,
A-frame
this is our
that,
house.
that you're there. It's obviously inspired by the mountains. But tell me a little bit more about the album and how it shows an evolution in your sound since your days of playing the house parties up at CSU.
This one was cool because we had, I think we as a playing enough together by the time we started recording it to where we had a pretty good idea of who we were. I think that before this album, we were maybe still in the process of figuring out who we were. And I think we kind of got our heads wrapped around it a little better for this one. And I like it because it's such a it is a cool grouping of songs as a whole. The whole album's kind of a fun mix of things to hear. And I think like having played enough with the guys at the point of starting and recording it, and everybody was rowing together. Instead of everybody trying to figure out what the hell to do and where we should be or where we should go with it, it was definitely a change as we got into it. It was like, okay, cool. This is what we want.
Yeah. It's a great album. Like I said, you're gonna be playing a lot of those songs tomorrow night at Schmiggy's for the music lovers in our area who weren't able to see your Schmiggy's show in September. What can they expect? And to that end, for those that did catch that show, is there anything new that you're going to be bringing out this time around?
Man, every time we play a show, it's a new show. That's kind of the fun part for us. We get to take what we have because we now have a pretty good string of our music on on through our records and stuff, through our two records. But it's we get to take that and we're gonna jump into the abyss, just whatever, tomorrow night I guess it is, just like we do every night when we play. Man, it's fun. There's a lot that we don't know is going to happen. There's some songs we play straight down, which I love those songs too. There's a certain element to perfection that you try to attain with the ones that you're just like, you're like ready, set, go, up, stick the landing, but a lot of our show is very improvisational. So we're closing our eyes and freaking jumping.
I think that's a mountain mentality as well. That comes from growing up skiing around our mountains, just like point them and go, like
Yeah,
just see
man,
where it
point
takes
them
you.
downhill.
Yeah. That is what we will be doing tomorrow night and every night. If you come out to see an O'Connor Brothers band show, we will be sending it.
Right on. Well, Matt and Sean from the O'Connor Brothers playing Schmiggy's tomorrow night. Thank you so much. I do want to remind once again, anyone that's heading out to the show, you have an opportunity to claim a free drink within the Steamboat Locals app. It's an easy download in the Apple or Google Play stores. Gives you full access to all of our locally produced podcasts, blogs, and the Steamboat Locals Choice for Music internet radio station where we are featuring a couple of your songs. So thank you guys for taking the time and have a great show tomorrow night.
Hey, man, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.